Hi, everybody. My name is Mikayla, and I'm a software engineer working on Zed, the code editor for what's next. And today, I want to answer the question, why aren't we GUI yet? Rust should be excellent for building UI. It's fast, it's type-safe, it's flexible, but there's a persistent feeling that we're not there yet. Why? We think it's because most people are building a UI framework. But at Zed, we found that what we need is an application framework. And that's what we've ended up building with the framework that powers Zed, GPUI, or GPUI. So, what is an application framework? First and foremost, an application framework needs to be a powerful UI framework. It should be flexible enough to realize your vision. It should be fast enough to render a new frame every 8 milliseconds. And it should be easy to use for your whole team, including your designers who might not be Rust experts to the level you are. And so for GPUI, we took inspiration from the most successful UI paradigm ever created, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Our UI primitive is an element, analogous to an HTML element. Styling for elements is just data that the elements use to push command instructions to the GPU. And every frame, we generate a new tree of these elements to render the UI, just like in React. And this is what it looks like. Here we have a div, analogous to the HTML element of the same name. Div supports all the basic styling properties you'd expect from seeing CSS, using Tailwind's utility classes. And you can use closures to handle events. Next up is state. In a GUI application, everything wants to update state. Buttons, timers, background tasks, network requests, everything. And in Rust, that means either RC ref cell soup or embracing an action reducer style architecture. You might know this from React reducers or the Elm language. Just some way of separating the updating of state and the generating of updates. GPUI solves this by taking ownership of your state and turning it into an entity. Entities can only be mutated through a mutable borrow to the framework. We call these a context, or CX for short. With entities and contexts, GPUI can provide a simple mutable borrow to your state whenever you need it. And if you want to hear more about this, I recommend the link in the slides. Here's what this looks like in practice. You define a Rust struct that does whatever you need it to do. You move that struct into GPUI with context.new. And when rendering this entity, you can use context.listener to get a mutable borrow right when you need it. Note the and mute in the and mute widget view at the very bottom in this on mouse down call right here. And finally, an application framework must provide convenient tools to manage threads. macOS and Windows require that UI code be run on a specific high priority thread. Work on that thread needs to be both minimized and tightly coordinated with work on other threads, making it an application architecture decision. For these reasons, we can't just use Tokyo. We built our own async executor as a thin wrapper around a platform scheduler, and we provide distinct APIs for UI thread concurrency and non-UI thread parallelism. This all boils down to two simple methods: background spawn for creating a task on a separate thread pool, and spawn for creating a task on the UI thread with access to UI state. And now, you might be thinking to yourself, all right, that all sounds cool, but Mikayla, what about the rest of the owl? GPUI has many of the tools you'll need as your app grows in complexity. A layered architecture, so you can build new elements with new layouting strategies when you need them. A deterministic executor for async property testing. That's another great talk I'd suggest checking out later. And a dev inspector for tweaking your UI at runtime. Did we mention it's all Rust? No DSLs or web views involved anywhere? For these reasons and more, we're calling GPUI Rust's first application framework. We're going to be releasing it on crates.io later this year. We still have a lot to do, though. Zed isn't finished, and neither is GPUI. specifically want to call out the Dioxys project for building a bunch of other also really important tools, some of which we even use, like Taffy. But if you want to try it out right now, check out our website, gpui.rs, and follow us on social media for updates. Thank you for your time.